When it comes to buying HOTAS or HOSAS, there's a few things to cover. This is just for purchasing sticks in general. One being what game you're going to play, because sometimes that can influence whether you should even buy a stick, because trust me, there are plenty of games where I would say don't buy a stick. Um, the other being how close to real life you want. That can really influence the kind of thing you want. And I'm going to break it to you now, but if you want a near one-to-one cockpit experience, you're looking upwards of thousands and lots of time put in. And quite frankly, it's all through Thrustmaster and a few other companies for your mounts, your MFDs, and your butt kicker if you use one, or your roll cage if you really want to go the extra step. Um, so yeah, if you want a close to life experience, you're going to need to put a lot of effort and a lot of money in. Not some you can get like a cheap stick mount that goes on your chair and a cheap throttle mount that goes on your chair to keep that nice positioning at least. But when it comes to the stick itself and the hardware you're using, that's going to cost a lot. And obviously, finally, the dictator of whether we get what we want or get what we can, the budget. That is the prime factor in choosing sticks for me personally. Um, but I've collected around 3 or 4 sticks that I would genuinely recommend. That I have friends who have experience with or have experience with um, myself to genuinely give my opinion. If there's a stick that I don't cover here, you feel free to comment it down below. I'll have a look at it and I can update the guide if you like. But I have probably never touched the stick, so I don't. It's rough for me to give a decision on that. So as far as the game goes, I'm sorry, War Thunder players, but if you're buying a stick for War Thunder, I would genuinely consider not. It takes forever to get good at, which doesn't sound like a bad thing at first, but the disadvantage you're put at when it comes to the M and K control scheme versus Sticks control scheme, it's incredibly hard to compete and to get good at, and it becomes a more head against the wall experience than War Thunder actually is. But if you're trying to play DCS, Star Citizen, Microsoft Flight Sim, or any game really that actually supports stick support, um, I can see why you do that. I would genuinely consider buying a stick, especially for things like DCS or Star Citizen, where it's a competitive thing. With DCS, if you don't have a stick, it's going to take you a significant amount of hours more than the guy next to you who does have a stick to get to the same skill level. That's just a fact. People might hate that, but that's just the way it is. Because you get the people coming into the comments being like, "Oh, I use keyboard and mouse. I use controller." If you don't want sticks, use your controller. Controller is great. Controller is an amazing alternative to using sticks in DCS. But when you're trying to remember keybinds like right control shift plus 3, um, I would just pick a stick up, a cheap stick up at the very least, and the precise inputs you get when it comes to the nose of the aircraft, and not to forget the fun. It's so much more fun actually using a stick in a fighter jet of some kind. And finally, the bit where I actually recommend sticks to you. Uh, I'm going to go through the budget. So we've got 3 budgets: affordable, medium, high end. For affordable, realistically, there is only 1 or 2 good sticks out there. The T16000 is the best in my opinion. It's around £60. It's traditional ball and cup design, but is an amazing starter stick. However, I do think it should only be a starter stick. If you're sticking with this thing for 2 years, and it's first of all, if it's stayed alive for 2 years, well done, because they normally break after the first year. Um, but you're just limiting yourself. You could spend them years saving, getting ready to go up one step, um, and you will really thank yourself for the experience. It's so much better with a higher end stick. The next stick, medium range, there's a few sticks around the 120 to 240 pound range. That kind of a jump from 60, I know, but there are two like real options that I know of personally. The first being the Sol R from Thrustmaster. They're pretty much brand new. Um, Great, especially for space sims. If you're trying to play Star Citizen, I would recommend them. They look very good. Um, Lots of functions, lots of like a plethora of buttons and functionality. It's I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I haven't heard anything wrong with them. However, I haven't had any hands-on experience, so I would recommend looking for someone who has picked them up and has done a review and like a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month review to see the kind of feelings you get after actually owning one. Um, but yeah, secondly, the stick that I use and I stan strong. I love these sticks. Are the VKB Gladiator series. Personally, I have the NXT Evos. Because I started with Star Citizen, so I went two sticks. I've got a host SAS set up. But the reason I actually bought them is because of the versatility. So I bought a left Omni throttle stick, which is think your normal stick, but sidewards, so you hold it like a throttle. Um, and I took the spring out, the centering spring out, so I can just push it and leave it, and it acts like a traditional throttle for things like DCS. So I can just chuck the spring in, which is like a 3 minute process. You get given all the tools to do so. You've got loads of buttons. They're super nice build quality. They stick very well to any desk. I just stick them to my desk. I don't have any mounts. You can go to Monster Tech for like good chairs for mounts and stuff. Um, and yeah, you'll genuinely have a fun experience with them. They're super precise. They have around 64 like thousand or something points of tracking, so it's really nice for soft little adjustments and things, and it helps you keep that edge that other sticks might not. And finally, if you want the best in air quotes, obviously there'll always be sticks better in certain things, but these are the company that people go to for the highest quality sticks. Virpil, Virpil, they are the place to go if you have loads of disposable income and you just want some quick sticks to slap down and use. Um, Obviously, there'll never be a one-to-one cockpit setup that you can build yourself or some of the insane Thrustmaster builds you can make. But if you just want sticks and you have a lot of money and you know you're going to enjoy it and you want to, why not? They are they'll last years. They are very, very, very solid build quality. They're like they will last for years. The only thing, and it's the only thing that is a drawback, is the obscene price point. You could pick up a bundle, which is a HOTAS bundle with a throttle and a stick for £750, or you can spend up to £700 per stick. Um, and with two sticks, that's 1400. Uh, I wouldn't recommend starting with Virpils because imagine the look on your face if you don't like flight games after trying them with sticks, or you don't like sticks and you prefer controller, and you've just spent £1,400 on a stick on a setup. That sucks. So I'd be very careful if they're your first. I wouldn't ever do them as your first. If you've got loads of disposable income, start with T16s just so you know you like it, and then smack out a pair of Virpils because they'll last you pretty much forever. All in all, I would actually wholeheartedly recommend VKB sticks. They have loads of functionality, buttons, the versatility with the springs. They have very precise tracking because they use a laser cage design, which like T16s use a ball and cup, which is a ball in a cup that has a laser on it that tracks. I have two pincer springs in the VKBs that track, and I'm not sure what the Virpils use. But yeah, the VKBs are my personal go-to mid-range. I spent in total 400 on my sticks. That was 240 per. It's on the higher end of medium range, but if you can do it, I would definitely recommend it. And if you're a little bit off, I'd recommend saving rather than buying a T16.